All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Give me touching on the top prop bets in the NBA, as well as touching on a little bit of NFL. Let's go and get into it. So I do just want to get into a quick recap of this past week thus far. So far on the week, 19 for 34 on the week, so 55%, which is about right on par with what you would expect when we're making bets that are around, 54% likelihood to hit. Yesterday in the NBA, ended up going 4 for 10. I kind of mentioned, obviously the goal is to always hit every single bet, but really trying to shoot for 6 for 10. So kind of just looking at that, I do think we'll most likely have a better day today. A lot of players just ended up really just not shooting the basketball well. And so hopefully we just have, players hitting more of their averages today. Let's go ahead and get into one of my favorite bets on the day. But first, we are looking at kind of the board that we have. We are going to see that we are getting some pretty good fantasy score prop bets that we'll get into as well. So I got about 6 bets that I think just in general, anyone can go out and use that, should be pretty solid bets in terms of likelihood to hit. This is me, but I also want to see what the data is saying as well. So first I want to take a peek at Jaylen Suggs. Jaylen Suggs is someone that is playing a lot of minutes, which if you followed the Magic last year, kind of the annoying part with the Magic is the fact that they just weren't getting a lot of minutes. So we can see he's currently projected to get 26 minutes, but he has been someone that has seen an uptick in minutes each game thus far. And so if we can kind of see those minutes continue, that can be huge. And so to me, really, if we are betting on Jaylen Suggs, it's the fact that we're betting on those minutes to continue to be there like we would expect, I guess, especially in a matchup that should be a good matchup. So the bet here is that maybe the projected minutes, which if we look at what Vegas is kind of saying is going to happen, then we would like the over here. Now, I put down that I actually like his over PRA. The projection data does not like the over here. The average sportsbook line would actually add this at 22 instead of 22.5. Again, the reason why I like the over is because, one, I think Jaylen Suggs is pretty solid. I like the matchup, but I also think the minutes are going to be closer to 31 rather than the 27 that he's projected to get. And so this is probably going to be a better sportsbook bet if you guys want to bet on his PRA. But if you're betting on PrizePicks, his PrizePicks fantasy score is not a terrible bet. Again, just betting on the minutes. Another spot that we have is going to be looking at the Toronto Raptors. So looking at the Toronto Raptors, they're going to be probably without Emmanuel quickly. That's what all reports are saying. Maybe they potentially get RJ Barrett back in this game, which would be pretty huge. He hasn't played thus far this season. They have still been without Bruce Braun and Kelly Olynyk as well. And so if we look at the data, really it does suggest that Scottie Barnes should have a pretty big game in this game. The issue that we're going to have here is that if we look at the prop bets that are available for Scottie Barnes, they're all these dumb goblins or demon prop bets. Again, it's very annoyed with PrizePicks with what they've been doing here. But let's talk about his per 36 production. So we probably are mostly trying to look at underdog because PrizePicks is doing the goblin prop bet. So looking at the lines that we are getting, I would say they are mostly correct. Like as per 36 production with those players off the court, 21 points on average, does get about 7 rebounds per 36, and does get about 4.8 assists per 36. Has a big usage rate though, 27%, and his fantasy score is actually pretty high as well, 37. Now that is just based off of this year. Last year was a little bit higher as well, but I would say that those players being out also increases the likelihood of this game being a blowout, and obviously going against Denver even more so. And so I do worry that this game could be a blowout. So honestly, I would almost say that they're probably overvaluing Scottie Barnes a little bit here. And so I want to bet on him with quickly out. I just think that it's being overvalued. And the fact that we're getting these goblin prop bets, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. But there is a player that we can get to a little bit, and that's going to be Gradey Dick. So Gradey Dick is someone that has seen a pretty big bump in usage as well with quickly off the court. And again, this is assuming that RJ Barrett's going to be out. Gradey Dick has a 22.5% usage rate, averages about 22 fantasy points per 36, 32 fantasy points per 36. And if we look at his points per 36, 22.7, averages 2.1 rebounds, 1.6 assists. And so really, I think the points prop here would be a good one. We can also do PRA. I do expect him to get a pretty big bump in playing time as well. We look at he's already getting around 30 minutes. So if you give him a little bit more minutes in this game, then yes, I think he has a great chance to go out and have a good game in this one as well. And so because we don't know that news on RJ Barrett as well, we're not getting any sportsbook data off of those as well. So we really are making those bets based off of the per 36 production. Again, I think Gradey Dick more so on underdog is going to be the spot that we want to be targeting. Another bet that I like that, again, not exactly the best prize picks bet or underdog bet, is going to be looking at Christian Braun to have another good game. If you look at Christian Braun, he's been someone that's getting a lot of minutes as well. Let's see what he's projected to get minutes wise. 23. And if we look at his minutes that he's been getting lately, 34 and 29 minutes, that's pretty big. And given the matchup with Toronto, I still think that those minutes will be there for him. Again, kind of assuming that this game has a chance to be a blowout. You know, they're about 9-point favorites in this game here. And so I personally think that that's actually going to increase the likelihood for Braun to have a good game again. And just given the lines that we're getting on him, they all feel a little bit too low. I actually don't mind the over PRA. Again, the projection day is not going to agree with me there. That's going to happen early on in the season because early on in the season, we're trying to find spots where maybe the minutes projections are wrong, maybe the rolls are wrong, and that does happen a decent amount. You know, about 2 weeks from now, we won't be having those cases. And a player that I kind of like is actually going to be Jaylen Green moving on into the next game here. Jaylen Green has been someone that's obviously a good basketball player. We all already know that. But given the matchup with the Spurs, a matchup that he's already had the overs against one time this season in their last game, assuming that this game doesn't blow out, 2.5 points, we should be good to go there. I think he's going to have another good game. And again, the projection not exactly green. That's fine. But I don't mind his over points. I don't mind his over PRA. Those are both bets that, Vegas is kind of saying that they would like the over as well. About 52.7% there. So Jaylen Green, I kind of expect him to continue to play well. And another bet that I really like in this game is actually looking at Jeremy Sochan to get to just have another good game. It's really just depends on what bet you guys want to be betting on. And that's simply just due to the role that he's currently going to be in this game. Let's take a peek at his projected minutes, about 28. Again, that could be something that's a little bit higher. And so looking at guys, last game he had 37 minutes against Houston, and he should be in for another pretty heavy game in terms of his minutes, simply because Devin Vassell is going to be out as well as Trey Jones. Those are two players that overall do affect the playing time that he would get. And so he had a good game last week. I kind of expect that to continue. Look at his per 36 production, averaging, and again, this is a small sample size early on in the season, but averaging 21.3 points, 10.4 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 25% usage rate, and 37 fantasy points per 36. Jeremy Sochan is someone that can really go out and have a good game. And so we're looking at the points and rebounds here. He could, I don't think he will, but he could get this over just in his points. And again, the projection data, not going to agree. It's a little bit early again. Projection data is a whole separate data point. I think he's going to have another good game. And then another player that I kind of expect to continue to play well, Dyson Daniels as well, guys. Dyson Daniels has been getting a lot of minutes and has been playing well. I really don't mind his PRA. That's going to be another good bet that I'm personally going out of my way to target. And so let's get into a recap of some of those bets that I like right now. I do like Jay and Ivey. I do like Kobe White. Those are some of the first bets I made today. But Christian Braun to have a good game, I think that that's going to continue. Him to get over 15 PRA, I'm happy to do that. Jaylen Green, I think, will continue to have a good game. But I really do like Jeremy Sochan to have a good game. And maybe we could potentially just go with Dyson Daniels, 10.5 points. Just expecting him to still get those shot attempts up that he has been getting. For Jaylen Green, worth mentioning, like he's been getting over 20 shot attempts per game. Obviously, we need that to occur again. And again, given the game against the Spurs, I do expect that to continue again. Let's go ahead and get into some more bets on both sides now. And so let's look at some of the fantasy score prop bets that we are getting here. We got Miles Turner to get under 30.5 for his fantasy score. Now, if we look at the average sportsbook line, it does have it at 31.15, but it's heavily favoring the under there with that line. And so not exactly a bet that I love to attack, but at the same time, I kind of can get behind it. This is a game where the Pacers could be playing from behind. It's a game where Miles Turner might not get his full allotment of minutes. And so it's not a terrible bet. I would say another one that kind of goes along with that would be Franz Wagner to get over 37 for his fantasy score. That's popping up here, but not exactly bets that I feel like we need to go out of our way to target. We are getting some EV bets here. Jaylen Green to get under his assist. Not exactly one that I personally want to go out of my way to target. We are getting Bam to get over 9.5 rebounds. That's a bet that I've already made, an EV bet that I've already made. You guys know this by now. I don't exactly love to tell you guys to place, I don't like to include these on the bet slip because these EV bets are consistently going in and out throughout the day, getting bumped or bumped up or bumped down. If these are still available when you guys are watching these videos, by all means, make these bets because these are the ones that give us a statistical advantage on prize picks throughout the year. So I'm happy to target those ones. And I did have a slight filter on just now, so turn that off. And we also are getting some more fantasy score prop bets that are decent as well. So we got Jalen Duren, Inika Ganku, Clint Capella, fantasy score prop bets that are also popping up as well. And I do find the Anika and Clint Capella prop bets interesting, that the unders being favored there, mostly just due to the matchup with Washington. I think that should be a good matchup, but they are 7.5 point favorites in that as well. And like, they are coming in off of the back end of a back-to-back. I'm curious to see what the minutes will be like for those two bigs. They've both kind of been splitting each other's work. Anika got a little bit less run yesterday than he has the first two games. And so to me, maybe he actually gets a little bit more run this game. That's kind of how I see it. And then the Jalen Duren one is interesting as well. Going against Miami, that's typically not a spot that I would want to be targeting him in. So I'm surprised that the sportsbook data is telling us to bet the over there as well. I don't know if we exactly need to go in on that one as well. And then just real quickly, just showing you guys the general board that we're getting on Underdog. IO to get over his points, 10.5. That's the one that'll probably be bumped, I'm assuming, on Underdog. Again, the projection data doesn't exactly love that one. Anthony Black to get 6 points. That's about a push. We got Zach Collins to get 7.5 points. That's not a terrible one on Underdog right now. And Nika to get his over points. Jaylen Suggs to get his over points. Cole Anthony to get his over points. So a decent amount of bets on Underdog right now, NBA-wise, that are going to be good EV bets. If you guys want to target those ones, by all means, go for it. We have Keldon Johnson to get over his points as well, 13.5. Those are all fine. Happy to do those. Again, a lot of the times those are just going to be bumps, so not worth putting in a bet slip. I think it's worth calling out that we aren't getting that many like massive NBA or NFL bets as well. Just looking at the cheat sheet, really Malik Neighbors to get under his fantasy score, and that's not exactly what I'm personally going on my way to target. And so looking at the 9 to 5 bet of the day, the bet that I like the most currently is actually just Gradey Dick to get over 13.5 points. Again, just given the role that I'm assuming he'll be in this game, it should be a slightly expanded role, a little bit more usage, and I don't think we have to worry too much about the blowout potential of this game because I still think he'll get the run. Then Jeremy Sochan to have over 20.5 points and rebounds. Just looking at the small sample size of per 36 production thus far this season, that day does suggest that he should be able to get this over as well. Like the matchup with Houston there as well. If you guys want access to any of the tools that you saw in this video, head on over to 9to5sports.com. Get access to them for just $10 a month. But when you use the promo code KEEPCASH and get them for $8 a month. You guys already saw the prize picks bet of the day as well. Comment your guys' favorite prop bet that you have for the NBA slate. That's going to be all for today, guys. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.